It's still the Friday edition of The Conversation here on Lagos Television. And of course, before the break, we did tell you that on The Conversation today, it is all about entertainment. And today, we're taking a look at Nollywood and the creative industry, the role of the National Film and Video Censors Board. Now, this is a regulatory body created, of course, under law to regulate the film and video industry in Nigeria. How has it been since he assumed office? That is the new Director General and the CEO. He's a friend of the house. We're proud to be affiliated with him. And of course, it's the first time he'll be here since his appointment. Dr. Shaibu Hussein, thank you for being here on the program today.
The pleasure is mine. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back home.
Back home. Congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you so much.
Right, so since you assumed your appointment as the DG and CEO of the National Film and Video Censors Board, how has it been? What did you meet on ground? And what are some of the steps you're taking at righting some of the things that could be seen as the wrong in the sector?
All right, thank you for having me, and it's really a pleasure to be here. I was appointed in January, but I assumed office in March. And by the time I got to the Censors Board, I met a Censors Board that was still grappling with that word, censorship. And I had done a lot of studies even before I was appointed, and I found that globally we have moved from censorship to classification. That is, we give ratings to films, and depending on the rating you get, that's what you are allowed to exhibit. So I now said, okay, with the permission, kind permission of the Honorable Minister, we are going to move completely from censorship to classification, which is why a lot of filmmakers were having problems with the board. They were not coming to the board, they were bypassing the board because they didn't want anyone to look at their content, you know, they didn't want anybody to say, okay, maybe they are muzzling creativity and so on. So I said, no, globally it's classification. There are some ratings that you have to give to your film. So if you do a film that does not meet some of the criteria that we're looking for, we give it a particular rating. If for instance, if we make a film that is supposed to be for general viewing, and because of the content of the film, we give it maybe 14 or 15, then it means that we have restricted the audience, you know.
To that age range?
Yes, to that age range and all that. So that will help a lot in improving standards and all that. So we said, okay, we're moving to classification. And then the other thing I met was that we were still doing analog in terms of classification. That means that you have to put your film on DVD, you have to bring it to the board, you have to upload it, or they will watch, you have to go and pay somewhere else. They will confirm the payment before they do the screening. And this is time, because the content creators want to just make their content and upload.
And push it.
They don't have the luxury of having to pass. And then again, you know that the Censors Board is a civil service setup. So people work from 9 to 4 o'clock, and after 4 o'clock, they are gone. So I said no, that we're going to move from that analog system to a fully digitized system, you know, where you can upload a film from the warm comfort of your room and make payment on the platform and then get your certification on the platform. And then we now started working on return time. And I promised the stakeholders when I took over that, look, we're working on an infrastructure that will enable you, for instance, if you submit a skit or music video by 9 a.m., for instance, by 10, you should be able to get all sorted out. If you submit a long feature, highest it can take is 48 hours. So we are building that infrastructure. It should be ready by the end of June. Yeah, this month. And then we'll now go full throttle and say, okay, now we have removed all those bottlenecks. Now you have to classify your films and you get your results right way. So that's the second one. Then the third one, I met, you know, staff who are ready to work, but they didn't have the facilities to do the job and all that. And I didn't even meet a fantastic budget, because the purchase of censorship equipment, for instance, government gave me 100,000 naira to buy, which cannot even buy me heavy flash that I can use, you know. But I'm not deterred about that. I've been meeting with friends, partners, and all that. We'll get some facilities to get going, and then as we run, we will get more facilities to work. Because if we want to meet the demand of content in this country, we can't do 9 to 4.
Right.
We have to do round the clock. that means that my staff have to have the facility that they can take home.
Technology.
Yeah, they have to have
they can work from
laptops,
home.
iPads, they can work from home. And then when we now get a very comfortable headquarters and our offices are comfortable, they can do shifts.
Right, and
like
then
after
sleep
4
over.
o'clock, they can sleep over. Because Nigeria is a content country.
Right.
We have a lot of people making content. There are people who do 7 films in 1 week.
And
1 week.
And the 7.
I'm happy that you mentioned skit makers, online content. How do you intend to regulate some of the funny content that we see on online? And of course, lately, some of these movie content creators, they have criticized some of the regulations that you're bringing on board, smoking scene, rituals scene. How do you intend to harmonize all of this?
All right.
Without offending the viewers and, of course, the content creators?
No, but we're helping society. For instance, we were in Enugu where we started our campaign to have a healthy screen. You know, screen that can help our young people who are coming up. And there's a National Tobacco Act in place, which allows every sector, you know, to handle aspects of how we can discourage, curtail this use of tobacco and narcotics and all that. And if you check, the NCA, National Civil Aviation and FAN, they have their own to do. If you go to the airport, you cannot smoke. And there are designated smoking areas. Then in the flight, you can't smoke. They even announce that you can't go to the toilet and smoke. That's their own. NBC and the Broadcasting Commission and the rest, APCON, they have banned television advertising for tobacco and all that. Our own responsibility is to discourage the promotion and glamorization of tobacco. Not that we are stopping smoking scenes in films. Because that's the one that got them worried and say, oh, you are muzzling creativity. How can we have our film and there will not be any smoking? No. If there are necessary scenes for smoking, especially the ones that for historical accuracy, the ones for educational purpose, or the ones that correct negative lifestyle, you can use them. But what we are saying is that you must warn. You must warn from the beginning of the film that the filmmakers and the actors are not here to glamorize smoking or endorse smoking or drinking or use of narcotics and all that. Then you must warn. I hear some people say, what we warning do, people don't stop. But it's a lie. You have not done any research to know that some of these warnings don't work. They do.
They do.
Because by the time, I mean, presently now, if you advertise soda, you are warned to put a warning that too much intake of soda leads to the diabetes. I got my own lesson from that warning. Because I'm saying, if this thing is so sweet and they are forcing them to warn, then there must be something. And I did my little research and I found out that I was just consuming sugar, you know, and all that, you know, and then all that. And I stopped. And since I stopped taking, I know the effect on my own personal body. So we just said one. Then the other part of the regulation is this ritual killing and this depiction of ritual killing and money ritual. The way they depict them in these films, they make it look like a lifestyle. They make it look that it is real, that you don't need to work.
They promote it.
Or, they promote it. All you need to do is just to get somebody cut off the head.
And then you're
rich. Money, dollars. The one I saw, after he cut off one lady's head, the whole room was filled with money. That money was coming out from the head like this.
Like, is that how it is really?
And then a young man will just go and pick up that from a film and say, let me try it. And they tried it. I've read so many news. In fact, there was a guy they caught one time and they were parading them at Ikeja. And they say, where did you see this? He said, Morinino film ni, that they caught body parts and they were selling them. Then they now became rich. And people are telling me that film does not have influence on people. But no, our filmmakers, they need to take responsibility. They need to know that apart from making money, they have a responsibility to protect society. They have a responsibility to promote our values. We don't know. We are not known to keep people to make money. We are known to work hard to make money. But they have now made it look like a lifestyle. So we are saying, don't glamorize it.
But have you engaged them before this?
I've been engaging.
Before coming up with this?
I got into office in March. I've not done anything apart from engagement. First of all, I engaged on that we are going digital. Second, I engage on classification. Don't be afraid again. We are not going to cut anything. We are only just going to give you rating. I engage on smoking. Some of them, in the meeting where I had meeting, they said if they knew the danger of smoking, because I brought experts and they showed them graphics. They told them statistics. You know, if you want to get people, show stars. Tell them that 1 million people are dying every day. These are dying, these are dying. How did we solve the problem of HIV and AIDS? We were showing them graphic pictures of what was happening and all that. We showed them. One filmmaker, I don't want to mention his name, but he's prominent. He said there that from now on, he will look for other means of showing somebody getting out of depression. There's a young girl in a film. She was cheated by her fiancé. She's just 20 years old. The lady came back home from the date that didn't work. First thing she did, she removed the cigarette, pack of cigarettes, showed us the pack. That's promotion. Then she picks 1 stick, 2 stick, 3 stick. In a single film, she smoked like 7 sticks. On the tray, there are 7 already on the tray. That's 14 sticks to get out of depression. Haba. There are so many other ways you can get out of depression and not smoking.
Right.
Tell me if this is not glamorization and promotion. Why are you doing that? And you know what we found out? Some of these tobacco companies are they are going into the filmmaking
industry.
To promote their brand. They are using skit makers. In fact, the ones they are using most is music video producers. That one is so worse now. You know, as theater people, when we want to do smoke effect, we have a smoke machine that pulls the smoke. But now, in some music videos, you don't need smoke machine.
You need just bots.
Just get the people who are in the scene,
to sit.
who are dancing with the lead actor. They will be smoking, and the whole room will be smoke machine. That's what is happening today, and somebody is telling me that I am chasing the personal. No, he said I'm creating creativity, and then I'm doing a self-serving regulation. How can it be self-serving?
And there's a law.
It's a law, 2019, National Tobacco Control Act, 2019. We are only just implementing aspect of the act, just like every other person is implementing. I can't be doing self-serving. What is self-serving? You know, sometimes when we do some certain things as government, I'm calling myself.
Yeah, you're not government.
You know, I used to come as a guest. I used to come as a journalist and critic. But now, when we take certain actions, some people see it as, you are muzzling creativity, you are doing all that. But they should see it beyond that. They should as a responsibility. Look, they say Hollywood. Hollywood now, see what they do. They either use a prop or they use e-cigarette, the one that does not emit smoke in their films. And in a scene where somebody is smoking in a Hollywood film, you know what they do? Somebody will say, you are still on this habit. The guy will say, I'm trying to get out of it. Say, you better get out of it because he will give. They are writing it inside the script as their own responsibility
of promoting,
you know, of discouraging people from taking cigarettes. But here, the person will say, you see the smoke? Which brand be that? Let me see it. I've not tried this brand before. I know that. And they are promoting it in the film. That's what we discourage, really. Not about we want to muzzle.
So it's more or less about glamorization of this act, because a lot of... So let's come to part of what your responsibilities or roles are. Are you also because of course classification is what you're moving into, are you also now asking for classification of movies that are also on the streaming platforms, or you're generally, because I know that a couple of movies, without mentioning the particular brands now, you will see either age, or you see them written sex, language, substance written there, so you can choose if you want to watch it or not. So are you also ensuring that you're also on the streaming platforms for movies that are released on those platforms?
Yes. The law says that if you make any content from 0 minutes to 5 minutes, 5 to 40, 40 above, you must bring it to us for classification, where we will put this rating about sex, violence,
strong language,
and all that.
Use.
We will make sure that you use that. Then the law also says that, look, you cannot go on any online platform to place your film. You can't exhibit for public, because all this online platform is for public viewing. You can't exhibit for public unless it is classified. So what we have done since I came in March is that I've been engaging with the platform owners, that we have a law in the country.
Including the skit makers?
No, not, well, these platform owners.
Okay,
like all these,
the streaming platform owners.
Streaming platforms.
Okay.
I've met with them, all of them. In fact, yesterday, they had a training for my staff. And what was my demand? I said, some of your community standards are not our community standards. Because abroad, at 16, you're an adult. But here, it's 18. So you can't expect a 16 to do certain things in this country. They can do 18. So because of that, we need a deck as regulators. The deck will enable us report to you some content that we found undesirable and all that. They agreed. They said it is done everywhere. But before now, there was nothing like that. Okay. So they trained our staff. So when we see some content, we can report to them and say, look, this content goes against our community standards, so we cannot allow it,
okay.
you know. Then we also told them that they should not allow anyone to upload the content that is dramatized, not fun, or like me, I can put a ring light now and say, hey, and I'm having fun. No, not that type. It must be a dramatized content that you have online. You must put that one on classify us before you allow it go online. And all those ones they have agreed to. So we are not going to have any problem at all. We're not going to have any problem when we start our classification regime because we have told the platforms they must classify before they...
Okay, I'm particular about the skit makers as well because you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, and you see all sort of content. Have you engaged these people since you took over the mantle of leadership?
Sorry, Dr. Shaib, let me quickly hold your thoughts on that. We need to take a short break. When we return, Dr. Shaib will respond to that question on the kind of engagements his board has been having with skit makers. That'll be after this short break. A warm welcome back onto the program. It's still conversation here on Lagos Television. Of course, we still have Dr. Shaib Hussain in the studio this morning, and we're taking a look at Nollywood and the creative industry, the role of the National Film and Video Censors Board. Before we went on that break, Ajibala asked a question, and I'll allow Dr. Hussain to react to that.
All right. You asked if we have been engaging with the skit makers and all that. Yes, we have. In fact, I had a meeting with one of the platforms that you have the bulk of these skit makers going on, you know. And when I had a meeting with them, they now graciously invited me to come and speak to them. They had a forum for them where they were telling them about things and all that. And I went there and I met them and I told them, look, there are some of these things that you do that are against our ethics and all that, that are against our rules. If we give you the template and you look at it, please, if you observe it, we will not have any problem enforcing anybody or chasing anybody around. And they all agreed, but they are more concerned like you noted earlier, was, oh, the problem we have with censorship is that we take it there and then they waste time. And we want to release, or what do they call it? They say want to upload, we want to drop. You know, like when they say, hey, video has dropped, and all that. And I say, look, sometimes too, you need to self-regulate yourselves. There's a time one music video person released a video, a very popular Nigerian artist. I was in Cyprus. I sat down, I checked everywhere to see that content. I couldn't see it. And why? They told me, you can't see this video in this territory because of certain depictions. And they listed the depiction, narcotic use, smoking, and all those ones. I couldn't see the video there. So do you want a situation where we begin to restrict content in our territory? And that's what we have been engaging them. I've been talking. We are going to have a stakeholders conference. We have had one in the East. We are going to have in the North, and we are going to have one in the Southwest, where we are going to continue to engage. Because I know that my job will be less done if I engage them properly, if I have a feedback channel where they can always, and we have one feedback channel, and I even tried it last night. 2 a.m. I woke up and I sent a message to my talkback team, and they answered me at 2 a.m. So I've tried that. So it means that any time of the day, you can reach us.
Or could they have answered because it was the DG that was
No, I used another phone.
Okay.
I used another phone
Perfect.
to reach them.
Right. So again, let's go to issues surrounding videos, because we also have a lot of, you hear things like video vixens, you have a lot of things also happening, you know, in the musical industry. Is it also part of what you do to regulate what is released from musical videos?
No, the content we don't. We give advisory on the content, but you know, so that they don't say that we are telling them what to do and all that. We give advisory on the content, and if you insist that it has to go the way it is, then we give it the proper rating. But you know, I am concerned, even before I became DG, I was concerned that right groups, especially feminist right groups, have not stood up to worry about this use of vixens, this nudity, this using of our women as commodity.
Right.
This using, I have a problem now with the film. The film came to us for classification. There was no scene of nudity. Then they now released the film and put a whole 10-minute scene. These ladies were naked.
Wow.
These actors were using their hair. Oh gosh, I don't want to describe it so that somebody will not go and start looking for the film to watch. These ladies were naked in the film. And they were trusting themselves on these actors and actresses, doing rubbish on the screen. And sometimes I wonder, don't we have people that can engage these guys and tell them, or even engage these vixens and tell them, what are you people doing? Because of sometimes as little as 5,000 naira.
Ridiculous amount of money.
I have one of my students like that. She left class and went and did vixen job. They kept her in one place doing one particular movement for a long time. And when the video came out, it was only like 1 second that they showed at the end of the day. They paid her, I think they paid her like 50K. But she came to the class the following day walking one type. I said, why are you walking like this?
Like a star.
She said, no, walking like her waist was paining her. And said, sir, do you know any job person that you can recommend me to? To go and massage my bone. Definitely she will pay that woman about 20K or 10K for the massage. But see all the time you spend there. And then I watched it just 1 second. In fact, I didn't know her because the film showed like a waka pass. I said, where you did? He said, see me there. But she spent the whole day there, almost half naked in the film. And there was nothing. You see them telling you about a film about maybe something like giving you hope in the film. But as you are even trying to get hope in the film, you now see some ladies naked, they are dancing, they are doing that. You will leave the message and you start focusing on
something else.
Okay, can't they help us? They should help us. They should help our young people. They are copying negative lifestyle. Some people think that you can just do one music and you begin to blow and begin to ride big cars. You begin to carry, you begin to go to club, you begin to hold red cup and all that. You know, some people think that, and it's because of what they see on the screen.
And that red cup is also prominent in our films.
It's everywhere.
In our content.
In our music videos, even in our skits, you see them with the red cup, and it's not water they are drinking.
Okay, are there challenges as to how you ensure compliance, and what are the penalties available when people run foul of the law?
Oh, when they run foul of the law, like this tobacco promotion and glamorization, if you overdo it, we take you to court. You pay 1 million naira fine and you go to jail.
Is there an option of fine or both?
No, you pay 1 million. If the judge is very lenient on you, can give you 1 million. If the judge is the type that maybe something feels very strongly about that offense,
You will go to jail.
like these days, I used to just walk myself to the special offenses court and sit down. I used to see that these people are so, like Lagos State has zero tolerance for anything domestic violence and the rest. There was no judge there that handled a case like that was very lenient.
Wow.
You know, so that's the same way. We even want them to be, not to be lenient with people, not just people who flout classification rules, but people who deal on our intellectual property, who steal our intellectual property. Piracy.
Before we talk about piracy, Dr. Hussein, let's quickly conclude on, I just want to ride on what Jibola asked you. So you talked about a particular movie that came to you for classification and went back to release that movie and, you know, added something that was
10-minute sex scene.
Well, are you obliged under the law to prosecute such producer?
Very much so. Even though I promised them that this is a board that will not enjoy taking anybody to court. So we are going to write them.
Okay.
I'm going to find a way to either bring down the film and let them edit out that content, especially if they are going to release them out to the open market.
Okay.
But if it is on cable station where some of our people have seen it already, they need to put a strong warning on it. Because you know the thing about cable too is that you pay to see what you want. You choose to see what you want. But if for any reason they are going to release that film into the open market, they must get that scene out. Because there is no way. And in fact, it's an offense. It's like you go to driving school. You know, you go to VIO to test your car. Then you conceal some things. Then when they give you certificate, then you now go and then you add to what they have done. So that's an offense.
It's an offense.
It's a clear offense.
Then how effective is your monitoring of compliance? Because, like you cited an example now, somebody came to you with something else, and when the content was uploaded, it was another thing entirely. How do you monitor these people?
That's why I said from the beginning, we need to be, our staff, in fact, the staff who pointed this out to me was watching it with a smartphone. Not like he came to the office at 9 and all that. He said, sir, I classified this film, but this scene was not in the film, and this is it. I said, write to the producers. Let's call their attention to it. And they did all the logging, said, we stopped at this scene and started at this scene, and they are written. Now everybody is coming to say, oh, we're sorry, we're ignorant of that part. Ignorant of that part, something that you willfully did. And you know, sometimes our filmmakers, because of craze for money, because I know a platform, for instance, that tells you that if they don't have sex in the content,
they won't take it.
They will not take the content. So they will go and force. There's one they just saw. Look, people like filmmakers like, Baba Kelani, people like Baba Kelani, for instance, they can't make a film and there is sex in there and they will show it like
in your face.
Even if a man and a woman are in a room and you put off the light, it's a suggestion.
So the viewers are left to
imagine what is happening there. Why is the light still on? And then they put off the light and the man is dressing up. You know that something has happened. Okay. You don't have to now, like one I saw. Oh God! I don't want to describe it. I don't know now. I watch even before I became DJ. I was watching films. Right. So now, hey, I watch them. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I watch. But our filmmakers need to take responsibility, especially the way they even treat certain things. You know, like something like animal cruelty. So, especially these skit makers. There was one that did one skit. And he was praying, he's a herbalist. He said that the EFCC will not arrest my governor, my former governor, Yaya Bello. He went to the bush, had pots, and said, if I am EFCC will not arrest you. I have done this. Then he now took a hen, broke the neck of the hen, right in front of camera.
That's cruel.
Some people will pass out, if it's in the US. Some people will just faint in their rooms because they can't even stand it.
Is it that they are not conscious of this or they do it deliberately?
Some of them do it just for content.
Right.
You know, everything is content now. Even if I live here now and I want to trip down, somebody will snap it and put it out. It's content for them. Everything is content. So, but we are getting to that level where we will talk to them, you know, not only talking to them, we will classify those contents or we give them advisory on those contents. They are doing a lot of damage to the image of this country.
Right.
A lot of these content creators. We'll talk to them, you know, the engagement will continue, as much as we can.
You were going to touch on piracy earlier.
Yeah.
And this was an issue that, it's an issue that has been with us for quite a while. Everything gets pirated, from movies to music to creative contents generally, to books. And so are you also permitted under the law to take on issues around piracy?
Okay, our law does not allow us to dabble
Is
into
that where
piracy.
the
That's where
Copyright
Nigerian
Commission?
Copyright Commission.
Okay.
But we have a role to play in some way, because whether we like it or not, we regulate contents. And so because of that, we have to put our own measure in place to ensure that people don't. And we do a lot of support to the Nigerian Copyright Commission. We report cases, and when we find some people, especially people duplicating contents that are not supposed to be, they are not their own property. When we arrest them, we let the Copyright Commission know about it. And sometimes we even join them in court to see. But the only problem that we have in the country is that, first of all, a lot of people are media literate. Sometimes they copy those things and they don't know that they don't know that they're infringing on people's rights. Then secondly, we need to strengthen our copyright laws and make sure that at least we have one scapegoat. Not the one that you go to court now and you tell him, pay 300,000 naira or go to 2 months imprisonment.
Or community
the man
service.
will go, or go and do community service. The man will go, 3 months is out, and he goes back to the same business. But when you make intellectual property theft a criminal offense, and you use one person as a scapegoat, because those boys selling it on the street are not the pirates.
They are not.
They are just hawking. The real pirates are there in one room somewhere, and they are printing. Yeah, it's a gang, and they are printing, they are circulating, and all that. If you take very punitive measures, I remember in Anambra State at that time, the tide of picking up people, or what they call kidnapping people, dropped when the governor gave a law and said that if you kidnap anyone and they find the person in a particular house, he's going to bring down the house when they arrest the persons. So everybody now started saying, if I don't know the job that you are doing,
I can't rent out my house to you.
And the thing abated. So if you are a landlord and you are giving people homes to duplicate people's films, and you are allowing people to stay there and do nefarious activities, the day they are caught in that house, they drop everything there. If it is possible, they will look for the chief of that area and dethrone him. By the time you start taking this kind of actions, because whether you like it or not, some of these boys, after they do all these their acts, they go and greet. They go and pay homage and all that. If you take some of these punitive actions, but strengthen the law, presently that 300,000 naira and 3 months imprisonment is too small. It's just like you are slapping them on the wrist. Try and hold them in the hands. By the time you use one person as an example, I'm sure the whole tide will go down. Piracy, you cannot eliminate. Let's not deceive ourselves. You can't eliminate piracy at all. It's just the same way that the world has been trying to ban smoking globally, and they cannot. You can't eliminate piracy completely, but at least you can mitigate, you can reduce it. I mean, look at Funke's film, look at Twins' film. The last time, you know, somebody was sharing it so easily on Telegram and the rest. Something these ladies invested in, so much money, and somebody was easily sharing. And the arrangement we even have now is that we're working with the Technological Development Agency, NIDA, and NCC. If we find any telecom company compromising and allowing these people to do this sharing that they're sharing
on their own platforms,
we can tell them to go off. We tried it, so it's not as if we cannot tell a telecommunication company to stay off. We tried it before, and it worked. There are certain things that we don't do here as a country, you know, and it's just because, we are very liberal, we don't want anybody to come and say, we are muzzling this and that. But we'll try some of those things and see whether it works. I was terribly pained in December when these 3 ladies, in fact, I think we discussed it on the program, when the 3 ladies took over the screen and were excited. But before you knew it, people are started. And you know, that case is still in court. And it's going to take almost 3 years before it gets sorted out. And I believe that maybe if our court system picks these people and then they deal with the matter instantly, everybody will just take you.
Okay, Dr. Shoaib, let's quickly talk about the state collaboration. What kind of collaboration do you have with state census boards And how are they also keen into the vision of the national body?
Yes, only 2 states, I think, have a censorship body. Lagos State and Kano State, they have a censorship body. But with the benefit of hindsight, I just know that what most of those states they need is not to replicate a censorship organization.
Right.
What most of those states need is a film office, something like looks like a film office that will encourage the development of the film industry within, provide infrastructure, provide support for production and so on, give permits for people to shoot and all that. That's what most states need. They don't have to, because the way the space is now, you can't say that this film was produced in Lagos. Yes, it could have been shot anywhere and then aired from anywhere. So you cannot actually say that. But you can actually say that this film was done in Lagos. You provide permits, you provide support that they will pay for. You know, you give them police to go around each time they are shooting and all that. And then most of all, you support infrastructure development like our dear governor is doing here with the film city in Ekpe. Once that city is there, we will have solved a 30-year-old problem. And what is the 30-year-old problem? When people like Chief Hubert Ogunde of blessed memory and my daddy in theater, when he was alive, he had a film village in Ososa. You can't hear that area boys are disturbing him because it's his village.
I think Kule is doing the same thing.
Yeah, and then Kule is doing with Cap Village. Thank you for reminding me of that. When you have your film village, you can build anything. In Bollywood, if you go to Bombay, you will see a film village in Bombay. They have Lagos. They built a site, Lagos. They built a site, 42nd Street and all that. They do all their films from beginning to end. Their actors stay in the hotels that are there. Those hotels too are used for shoots too and all that, you know. So they have everything in the film lot, so they're able to do their productions there. So if that, and I just pray to God that is, I mean, you know, the thing about government is that they have so many things that they are putting their hands on. But I also know that our governor here balances it so well. So if that film city is there, it will have solved like 60% of the problem that we have with infrastructure, because you will have studios there, you know, you will have people doing their edits and all that. So state government should not bother so much about censoring films. They should bother about developing the industry, building infrastructure in the area they are doing. And if I want to rate any state now in terms of infrastructure for creativity, I think I will start from Lagos.
Yeah,
not that I'm here.
A very quick one before we let you go. Aside from those measures that you have introduced for regulations and everything in terms of censorship, what more should we expect to make the creativity industry better for us? Okay,
what more we expect from the censors board? We intend to invest in the industry. We are not going to do production because that's not our area. I mean, the National Film and Video Censors Board, the National Film Corporation handles training and all those ones, or do productions. But what we are going to do is that we are going to build capacity for the industry. We are building capacity in the area of production, exhibition, and distribution, which we control directly. Okay. So we are going to have like a film market too. Okay. We are planning a big film market because we don't have one in Nigeria. So we're planning a Nigerian film and video market, big one, so that people can come into the country and see us beyond those people who are making waves. They can see the whole of the production companies we have and see the contents that we have so that they can pick contents. Right now we are going abroad each time to go, but we should be able to bring people to come back to Nigeria to do that. We're also thinking of a museum for film and video. It's a museum because the Film and Video Censor Board was set up in 1994. And at the time we were set up, we were using VHS tapes. Now we have moved from VHS to some digital formats that we use to watch films and screen films. So we want to have a museum where we will show you the journey from 1994 to date. I'm somebody who believes a lot in documentation. So another thing we owe the industry is a book, three booklets, 3 books actually, first, second, and third volumes, you know, publications of all the films that have been censored or classified in this country from 1994 to date. You have the title, you have the producer, you have the major cast. There was a time we were trying to think about a film that was done, I think it's a Iyawo Remeka or something. And we're trying to remember some of the actors. We shouldn't have that kind of problem because there is a document that tells you that
those are the actors,
people are the actor.
producers,
Dele Odule was in the film, Jide Kosoko was in the film, and Tom Oni was in the film, and so on. So we need to, as much as possible, document, and that's one thing that I'm going to leave. And I'm going to leave a censors board that is very responsive to itself first, to stakeholders, to society, and of course to government.
All right, I guess we'd have to leave this conversation here today. Thank you so much, Dr. Shaibu Hussain, for finding time to be here with us on the conversation today. And we wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
As you project at the Film and Video Censors Board. Of course, we've been chatting with Dr. Hussain today, and he's giving us a projection into what he intends to leave as a legacy at the National Film and Video Censors Board. We'll take a quick break. The conversation returns shortly.